Hello, hello, hello. Antphrodite here, your pop culture psychic. Back to you again with another reading. This time it's on Jeffrey Epstein again. If you haven't seen any of my last readings I did on Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, the Epstein list, I'll put a link to it up here. There's a ton. So the FBI and the government are now saying that they are considering this a case closed and the Epstein list never existed. The clients do not exist, that the nefarious stuff that was allegedly going on did not exist, and that he took his own life. They are closing the case. Everyone is going crazy, saying this is a massive cover-up. After all these years of saying there was a client list and they were doing crazy things on that island, all of a sudden now they're saying there's no evidence of that and the case is closed. People are saying that this is foul play and a cover-up. So I'm going to take a look at this one more time. So remember, these readings all at different tippers only, and let's get started. If you enjoy the content, please make sure you hit the join button down below. You join the YouTube members as additional content with tons of celebrity readings, true crime, spiritual readings, meaning of life readings, pick a cards, story times. You can win a reading from me. Please hit that join button down below. You're missing out. All right. So let's see. Jeffrey Epstein. The list. Clarification, did it exist? One more. Okay. So the Ten of Pentacles is reversed for Jeffrey Epstein, which makes a lot of sense. He knows where all the bodies are buried, so to speak, right, of everyone, right? The Ten of Pentacles is a lot of money and success, and it's reversed. So that's about utilizing money and power. It's like a loss of that. So yeah, I mean, he definitely would be the number one target for people in terms of like, he knew too much. We already know that. That's not really like me telling you anything you don't already know. But I'm not surprised that he's showing up as the Ten of Pentacles, because that means that he was losing people money, or potentially to lose people even more money or power. Now, in terms of the list, the Five of Cups reverse, predicting the worst before it began. So that's the list itself, which is interesting. We have the Page of Swords, which is about like fighting for something. And then the Emperor is upright, which is control. When it comes to the list itself, the problem is that, yeah, there's the Five of Swords. There's an issue with the details. It seems as though, first of all, do I think that like a list actually existed? I do. Do I think that it was a consistent list? No. So what I see in my mind's eye, and remember, these are metaphors, is like, you know, when someone goes to the doctor and you have a sign-in sheet, the sign-in sheet is different every day and everyone is going for different reasons. It seems like that's kind of what we're looking at here, is that there are vague lists and there are vague descriptions of what they were doing, you know what I mean? Like, there are like, basically you can make some conclusion based on who was going when and what time and who was together, but you're not really going to be able to utilize that for anything. When the Emperor is upright, that's a semblance of control. So for me, when it comes to the list, it was more along the lines of exhibiting a level of control over people and being able to like be aware of who's on the island and when they are and what's going on, more so than like actually organizing stuff. Like, I know people think of it as like a black book, right? Of like all the clients that were doing things, whatever. When I think it was more just like a organization, think of it like a daily organization or weekly organization, where it was more just like what was going on at that time period and who was there. Again, like a sign-in sheet. So I think what the issue here is that what are you going to do with that exact list? When we look at the Emperor also, which is about control, the problem here is if the list was like handed to people, if the list was public, everyone's mind would go wild. So that's the issue you're having with the Emperor, is like, it's better to not even put this list out or do anything, because people are going to assume crazy things. And in reality, we don't really have anything to do. Like, we can't even do anything with this list. Basically, what I'm saying is that, sure, the list is shady and there was definitely some shit going on, but without being able to prove it, what are you going to do with it? And if we give it to the public is going to make a perception, and it's going to ruin a lot of powerful people's lives. That's why. I do think, though, that they tried to prosecute and tried to do something with this. They can't. So there it is. That's the failure. And the Eight of Cups having to walk away from it. Yes. Knight of Pentacles is consistency in the Death card. It just seems to me like the only thing they could do is potentially find like who was consistently there or who went there often, but it's not enough. There is no evidence. That's the problem. The problem with this situation is that there's not any actual factual evidence. You can't connect things. It's all circumstantial and pieces of information. And if the public gets a hold of this, they're going to go crazy. And the problem is that if they go crazy, they go for a witch hunt. Legally, what are you going to do, right? Like for instance, let's say you see someone's name on there, right? And now like everyone is like, it's like a witch hunt. So everyone is like got a pitchfork and they want this person to be served justice. The problem is that what are you going to do with that information? It's not enough. Someone's name on a list is not enough. They can't find any additional information. They tried. I do actually think that they tried. I think there was maybe one person who was trying. Do I think that they were trying to be thwarted? Like people were trying to stop them from being able to find evidence? Yes. The death card here is about threats, not only threats to people's lives, but threats to their careers and things like that. It does look like there was at least one person who was really gung-ho about this, though. Knight of Pentacles says that they were fearless and consistent. But the problem here is that any piece of evidence that could have existed was gone. It was gone. So essentially what you have is this giant circumstantial piece of evidence and nothing else. And that is why they're saying that the case is closed, because what can they do? There's nothing more to do. There's nothing more to do. Now, do I think that the Empress is reversed, the King of Wands reversed, and Two of Cups? Do I think that people like were trying to keep this hush hush and people were moving parts around? Yes. Empress is reversed, King of Wands reversed, and Two of Cups. The problem here is that there are a lot of people that are involved. And when we look at this, the Two of Cups being reversed, the Empress, I'm going to tell you exactly what I see. I'm going to tell you exactly what I see in my mind's eye, and interpret this as you will. I see people from all avenues, which means both political sides, both lifestyles, whatever, right? Any type of thing. I see them being like, well, I'm going to expose that you're so-and-so, that you were there on that list. I'm going to expose that and I'm going to put it out there. And then I see the other person going, okay, you can put that out there, but then I'm going to put out that your main donor and the main person backing it was on the list. It seems like every single person has someone close to them or around them or connected to them that has a connection to the list or that was on the list. And that's the problem. And that's why we didn't see anybody using it as a tool to kind of like sort of like expose someone, because it was a game of chicken and the first person to make a move loses. So it's basically like calling it a wash. Do I think that there was crazy stuff going on the island? Yeah, I mean, I do. But the problem here is that they covered their tracks and they covered them well. I think a lot of times people, here's the thing. I think a lot of times people think that that real life is like the movies and the TV show where the bad guy, gets caught in the end, or where all the evidence lines into play and then the court makes the right decision. But as we've seen with like the Diddy verdict and obviously with this situation, that's not reality. Sometimes the bad guy does win. Sometimes the bad guy is able to get rid of a lot of evidence. Sometimes the bad guy is able to get off free. So it sucks, but there's nothing here anymore. I do think that we're going to start to see more leaks and we're going to start to see more cracks in terms of people that destroyed things or like stopped people from digging further or destroyed evidence, but nothing. I don't think anything is going to come of it. You look at the Ten of Swords, which is like a backstabbing betrayal, the Queen of Swords reversed, and the Five of Wands, which means that anybody that tries to expose this will just get destroyed, and that's it. This is not going anywhere, and it never will. The only way I could see this going somewhere is if someone goes rogue, but the problem here is that I feel like it's going to be almost impossible because there's no evidence. So it's like, okay, someone goes rogue and says something, but who's like, you can't believe someone without evidence, and their evidence is always going to be circumstantial. So it's like, what are you going to do? I don't know. I mean, in terms of Jeffrey Epstein himself, I think I saw this in my last reading. I think they moved him from that cell. someone came and grabbed him. I don't know what happened after, but someone came and grabbed him. It's the same thing I saw last time, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it was like, what, like 6 years ago I did that reading? I'm much better now, but I'm pretty sure it's the same thing if I remember correctly, because the Tower is about a catastrophic event, which means we've got you, right? And him, High Priestess is reversed, Star, it's an exposing, right? And a breaking of trust. And the Six of Swords reversed with the Five of Cups, which is like, oh, we cannot have you sing like a canary. And it seems like he was going to. He was going to sing like a canary. And the Six of Swords reversed, which is like, I'm getting you out of where you are and bringing you somewhere else. I think someone else dealt with him. That's what I think. I think someone grabbed him, put him somewhere, and dealt with him themselves. I don't know what that entails because I don't get any information past that. I can't tell you. I know some people think he's alive. Some people think he's dead. I don't know. All I know is that he was definitely grabbed. Now, I don't know if he was grabbed and then put back in the cell. I don't know. Maybe he was grabbed unalived and put back in the cell. I don't know. All I can tell you is he was definitely grabbed at some point. And I know the footage that was released, they released some sort of whack-ass footage, and there's still, times, minutes missing. Yeah, something's not right. Something's definitely not right. I'm also wondering if, I don't know. There's just something's not right there. I mean, I know a lot of people think there was a bait and switch and someone else was put in his place. It's possible. But I see him taken somewhere, though. I don't know. I just keep seeing him taking somewhere, unless it's a piece of him. Unless it's something on him. And maybe it's a metaphor. I don't know. But anyways, Judgment cards up by Page of Wands reversed and the Hermit. And this is the other issue, is that, yes, I do think Jeffrey Epstein was going to sing like a canary. Yes, I do think he was going to throw people under the bus. Yes, I do think people were going to torture him and if he did this, whatever. I get that. The problem here is that even Jeffrey Epstein didn't have that much evidence. But he knew that people would believe him, right? Obviously, he's going down, so if he's going to say something, they're going to believe him regardless. So when I tell you these people's tracks were covered, they were covered. And to the point where it was like, you delete everything before you leave type of shit. Like even if someone wanted to betray someone and tell on them, the rules that were in place, there's not much evidence. Like they covered their tracks very well. They knew what they were doing. And I also don't think that everyone that went to the island was doing the same thing and was there for the same reasons, or the things were happening every single time. It seems like when I look at the island in my mind's eye, it changes based on the time and the place and what was going on. Sometimes I do think that it was just a party. Other times there are nefarious things going on there. It does seem like it changes. It doesn't seem like it's the same thing every time. It's almost like, what I'm seeing is like renting out a place for a party. That's what the image is in my mind's eye, which tells me that things are going on there and it's always different. You never really know what you're going to expect, and you never really know what you're going to get. The people that you need to raise an eyebrow at would be the people that were there consistently, and that's what they're worried about, the people that have been consistently in there or seen there. The problem here is, once again, it's circumstantial. You don't know what was going on. You don't really know what whatever. So you're never going to get a conclusion. But do I think that the government directly was like covering this up? I mean, I do think there was powerful people that were making sure that things weren't pushed along, but I do think they tried. I do think there were certain people, at least one person, that tried to look into this, but there's not enough evidence. It boils down to there's not enough evidence, and powerful people are going to be like, you know what? We're getting so much pressure. The powers that be are giving so much pressure. They're more powerful than us. We're going to have to drop it, and there's nothing we could do. And then they were forced to drop it. But I do think they tried, which honestly I'm kind of shocked about. I did not think it would be like that. But I think it was just a matter of like, if we can make every piece of evidence you have disappear, you don't have a case. And that's exactly what I think was going on. And again, if this comes out, if someone says something, if someone's a whistleblower, whatever, it causes a witch hunt, and then everyone's throwing everyone under the bus, and then the whole swamp gets drained, so to speak. And then that's not good for anyone involved. So yeah. And some of those people that were trying to protect themselves, kind of ironic. I do see some people who are trying to protect their image about being on the list or whatever. I do see those people. Some of those people I don't think were doing nefarious things, but being on that list at all ever, would ruin their reputation. So it's interesting. Some people really were villains. Some other people were just, I guess you could say, bystanders, which I mean, some people might think is just as bad. But again, I'm not seeing the same nefarious things happen every time on that list. So it's like, or on that island. So it's like, did they go for one of the crazy things or did they go for a party? It's hard to tell. That's why this is messy and sticky and they're all stuck in it. But also, I will tell you this. I don't think that, once again, I will reiterate, I don't think this is one political party that is like trying to stop this from happening or try to stop this. It seems like everybody was in the mess. And I also don't know if I necessarily feel, if you want my honest opinion in terms of my intuition and my gut, I don't actually think the person that was behind the prevention of a lot of the evidence was a political person. They feel more like a maybe billionaire or like just powerful somehow. Like this person that I'm feeling that was like one of the biggest influences does not feel politically affiliated, or at least, I mean, I'm sure they're somewhat affiliated, but it doesn't feel politically motivated. And I also don't think that this person was able to persuade at least one political party. In fact, this person feels like somebody that likes that the political parties fight each other and would actively back both of them to continue the charade. Yeah. Interesting. It's somebody, or maybe someone who represents an organization or something that backs a lot of things. Their money is long. That's like your big bad, is this person's money is long. And you know what's interesting? I'm not sure. Oh. Here's a plot twist. I'm not sure that the person that I see really spearheading the disappearance of a lot of things with their money, I'm not sure if I see that person on the list. If they were, maybe once, but that's not why. They don't really care if their name is on the list. They like the power that it gives them protecting other people's names from being exposed. It's like blackmail. It's like, if I can make sure that your name isn't exposed, you are in debt to me for the rest of your life, and I enjoy that power. That is evil. And this person is definitely a sociopath. I can tell you that without a doubt. They are hollow and shallow. And they're manipulative. They're a little sinister. Like, this person likes to move pieces. It's the best I can do. So hopefully you enjoy that. Join the YouTube members, link down below if you really want to support the content. Until next time, bye guys. I'm just actually shook that we're still talking about this situation a million years later. It's like, we are never going to get answers.